Hey guys, my name's Gloria and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about Served Cold, which is out now. You can order the e-version or you can order a physical version if you'd like. I'll leave the link in the description down below. Thank you so much again to Regina and Steve for putting the whole thing together. All of the money is going to a children's literary charity. But today I want to talk about just a few of the stories in the collection that I think are definitely worth reading. I read the entire collection immediately when it came out because I was quite excited, but these aren't necessarily the best in the collection, but I just chose 4 because 4 is my favourite number, and these are 4 great stories that I think encompass what's great about the entire collection. And there are 22 stories in total in the anthology, so there's definitely a lot more to get stuck into. There's not going to be any spoilers for the stories today or anything. I just want to kind of give a little taster for anyone who hasn't read it yet or hasn't ordered a copy yet, who's sort of on the fence. This might be the tipping point for you. So the first one I want to talk about is actually the first story in the collection. I think it's very well bookended. The first and last stories are great points to begin and end on. And the first story is by Chaney, and I have to look up the name of it because it's a little difficult to pronounce. It's called Caraconcollis. No idea where that comes from or what language it is, but the story itself is great. I would recommend reading this entire collection under no less than 2 blankets, near a fire or some sort of heater with a hot beverage near, because I think everyone in the collection, including myself, we understood the assignment for this, and every story is chilling in every way possible. Not just scary, but there's snow, there's ice, there's rain, there's the bottomless depths of the ocean, just every way to be cold you can imagine. This book is absolutely freezing, hence how I look today. So definitely have a blanket beside you when you're reading this. So Chaney's story, and I will be reading Autumn Crow after reading this, but it is from the perspective of a woman who has been having Christmas dinner with her family and her kids, and her son, her adult son, has stormed off into a storm after an argument, and she is now driving in that storm to his house to drag him back so he can have dinner with the family, whether he likes it or not. And while she's driving, she's thinking back over their relationship and sort of telling on herself. She hasn't been a great mother. She's very controlling. She can't understand why her son doesn't want to live right beside her and doesn't want to be the exact person that she wants him to be. And you can tell even from her retelling of things that he is quite done with her nonsense and he just wants to be his own person. But she is not taking no for an answer, so she's driving off into a storm to keep the argument going and make him do what she wants him to do. But of course when she gets to his house, she doesn't find the son that she thinks she's going to find, and things take a turn for the worse. I can't say much more than that because I don't want to spoil it, but I love the subtle drip feeding of their relationship and the information you're getting. It starts off like a very relatable, you know, small family argument, but then as it goes on you realize that actually there's a lot more going on here than initially thought, and the little horror twist at the end, the little turn, and the very ending, I really loved it. I loved the sort of, it's hard to explain without spoiling it, but the mistaken conclusion that both mother and son come to at the end, I thought was just perfect. I loved it. So that one was a great one to start off on, and I really enjoyed that one. At the very end of the book we have Black Solstice by Dane Cobain, and this one is very different but still up at the same level with Cameron Chaney's story as well. It's a lot more humorous, there's a lot more puns. Instead of Santa Claus we have Satan Claus. There's little extracts, twisted extracts from familiar songs and stuff that are just adding a little bit of creep to Christmas that I really like. And the story itself centers around a family of a mother and father and a young son and daughter, and they are waiting with anticipation for Satan Claus. And Satan Claus is this mythical creature just like Santa, and instead of bringing presents he picks a sacrifice to feed him for the rest of the year and keep him going. And it's a dark comedy. It's got a lot of black humor in it. It has this lovely little family in the center of it and a lot of superstition in it as well. A lot of superstition that, you know, do this, it's good luck. No, don't do that, it's definitely bad luck. You know, the double-sided, you know, superstition being whatever that individual person wants it to be. I thought it was a real sort of palette cleanser almost. There's a lot of heavier stuff and heavier themes throughout the book, and I think that Black Solstice was a great note to end on, with just a little bit of humor, a good few jokes, a good few puns to end the book with, and it was really good. And this poor family does see some bad luck in the story without again spoiling it, but a great note to end on for the whole collection. And in the middle I have picked two that I really enjoyed. One of them is Thou by Sumida, which obviously from Harpies in the Trees. I will link all of the YouTube channels underneath this video as well for anyone who hasn't followed everyone already. But Thou by Murs is a great story. You can definitely tell if you watch any of her videos, she's a very visual person. She makes great book trailers and film trailers and stuff. I think she's maybe done some short films before, but she definitely should. And I think this one would be perfect for a short film because it was like watching a little horror movie in my head. The writing is great as well. The story is a young woman is being interrogated by a detective in her flat because a dead body, a man's body, has been found mutilated in some way, and they think she has something to do with it. And as the interrogation goes on, you realise that it's not just a straight up murder, there's something weird going on here, and the narrative sort of takes a step back every now and again into her childhood, into certain points of her life, and into what actually happened to him, and tells the story of her building an interest in the occult, in witchcraft and demons, and trying out spells and trying to get what she wants in life. And again, it doesn't have quite the ending that you would imagine it to have, but it's quite gruesome at times. There is some blood, some viscera. There's definitely a lot of violence in the story, but there's also this dark tension and eeriness to it as well that I really liked. So that one was great in the middle of the collection as well. The last story I want to talk about today is called Ensnared by Aphrodite Lee, or Aphrodite Lee. I'm not quite sure which pronunciation I should be using there. So this is the story of a man who is out in a snowstorm and his beloved car, who he speaks to like it's his best friend, has just broken down, and he begrudgingly has to leave it behind so that he can take shelter in a nearby cabin. And he gets to the cabin, tries to light a fire, and realizes that the whole place is covered in snow globes, which he finds a little odd. And very quickly the owner of the cabin comes back and just so happens to be an incredibly beautiful woman who doesn't seem very impacted by the cold. She's wearing very like a silken dress that is almost see-through, probably on purpose, and she doesn't seem too bothered by the cold, but she's brought some firewood for him to warm up by the fire, and she makes him some food, although she's not partaking herself. And he's getting some vibes off this woman. He's definitely getting some seductress vibes off her. Something strange is going on, and she doesn't seem to have the reaction you might think she would have. A lone woman in a cabin by herself finds a man there. You'd expect some sort of question, some sort of apprehension, at least tentativeness, but she seems right at home here. But for the moment her guest is stuck with her. He can't leave, can't fix his truck right now, so he just has to figure out what's going on here. I can't really say too much more about it because I don't want to spoil it. There is another little twist at the end, and I really liked it. It was one of the ones where I kind of had to stop and go, I see what you did there, I see what you did there. And it's definitely a story that would warrant a couple of rereads. I noticed some really good foreshadowing and little hints dropped along the way, and it was definitely an entertaining and a little bit of a sinister read as well. So I really enjoyed that one. So those are 4 great stories in the collection, but there's a whole 18 I think so. There's a whole host of other stories as well, including my own. I'll be doing another short video very soon, just talking about how I came up with the idea for my story and how I went about writing it and stuff. Stay tuned if you're interested in that. But you should definitely consider buying the collection for yourself. It's a great Christmas gift for anyone who loves creepy stories as well. And thank you so much for watching today. If you like what I'm doing here, you can like and subscribe down below, and I shall see you in the next video.